What's up, guys? Vince Ryder here, and welcome to my top 10 webtoons. I might as well make one. I didn't make like a top 10 games, and I put way more effort on that one compared to this. I don't know what it is. I've been really, I guess I got impatient, and I was like, man, I just want a break right now. Like, here I am, I'm already taking a vacation off YouTube, but I'm coming in with different contents of ideas. And there's a part of me where I have to take a break from the reads. I have to take a break. Like, I have to really sort of take a break from what, and also the other creators are also taking breaks as well. I know for a fact that each of them are probably still going, and I might have to read it, at some point when when the new one comes, because that's the thing with making content in terms of, because you don't see a lot of people doing what I do, which is basically reacting or commentating over webtoon reads, and there's like a new episode each day that I have to react to. But I'm saying that I have to, in a sense, keyword I have to, or keywords, that it's because that you guys want them. I get comments like, where's this episode? Where is this read, Vince? When are you gonna read like, that awkward magic again? And it's coming, but I kind of want a break because I don't get paid to do any of this. And also I don't get paid at all to actually ever listen to any comments at all. But I have to, because you guys supported this channel, and I don't want nobody to unsub and leave or anything like that. That would just be depressing. So it's this struggle of just, running this channel of like, not really a struggle, but basically a headache of just like, oh man, a new read came. And I know that someone's got a comment like, the new episode came, reacted, please. And I'm like, fine, I will, okay? Just like, odd. And, I could easily ignore them and take a break, but I can't, because I'm one of those people where I fulfill whatever it is that you came here for, okay? The only price, instead of you giving me money, which I wish you paid me to actually read, but hey, it is what it is. But is the fact that you're still here, that you haven't left. It's a lot of people have been leaving this channel. I know probably a few have probably unsubbed, but a lot of subscribers has come in, and they're expecting content from me. That's why they subscribe to this channel in the first place. But there is a part of me where I really, really want a break. I just want a break. And I also want to get paid. The amount of opportunities for me, first off, there is no opportunities in me when it comes down to these read-throughs or let's reads. Okay, there is some like people that that have been seeing my videos, and I that I look up to, and also probably some very few donations on my PayPal's. But other than that, yeah, it's just been zero. And the more time I've been growing within this channel and the videos that I've been making, the more times I've been realizing like I really need to actually do something about my life. I've been really saving up money here and there, and I fulfill a lot of things for this year of like, vacations and going to conventions and stuff like that. But at the same time, those don't come cheap, and I have to, really support myself. And that's why, for next year, as I'm recording this, I really want to fulfill those goals, and many of that, pretty much. And the reason why I'm saying all this is because this list is kind of like left and right here and there, because it's not consistent in the way I talk about things. My honorable mentions, first off, let's get started with the honorable mentions. It's because, each video, each webtoon that I read in this channel, boom, honorable mentions, done. Okay, what you wanted from me? Like, I can't remember all of them. Okay, I know meant to be is in there, I know boy girlfriend is in there, boyfriends for sure. I have to put some of these bigger BLs in here, the ones that you guys love, because I want to be fair if I put them in this list. And it's because that I want to actually put a much more different list of just like the webtoons that kind of touched me, kind of like, really affected, or just like, had me a bit emotional when I read them, because the emotions are everything. And those are the moments I remembered when I talk about, the top 10 webtoons, or the top 10 romances. Top 10 romance webtoons, because I guess I'm still a romance channel, even though romance is it is far away from me. I've been single for this long, and knowing that what's the point of romance if I don't really have any experience of much? I did experience it. I still remember the things with my ex, but yeah, I just like, why is it that I'm focusing on that? And when I did the whole gaming thing in my channel, because that's kind of like the rebrand, it kind of reminds like the same thing with some other channels that I'm subscribed to, that they decided like, yeah, I'm just gonna play games as a channel, and that's what I'm doing. I want to play more games in this channel, and this channel is, I guess, it's coming back to gaming, which it started. I started in YouTube back in 2014 as a gaming channel, and that got terminated. And pretty much, yeah, I'm back at it again with the whole gaming thing, but with a new, different twist. And also, I'm going to be doing the whole bunch of webtoon content, but with a whole different twist. It's just something that I feel like can fulfill a bit more, and something that is because basically this is the whole thing about my let's reads. I don't know if you guys like them or not. I start to notice the view rate, but again, it like the view rate and everything speaks a lot louder than people like, oh man, we like this, we appreciate this still, and I appreciate that, but I want to change things up, and I probably might share those ideas in the near future for sure. But I noticed that literally this is my whole content in doing webtoons, is basically like just record my screen and just like, read the webtoon, and when I'm done, and usually I can cut through, I can make like certain shortcuts because it's like the earliest one. And the more longer I wait, the more longer the episodes or some of the let's reads get to. And it pretty much what makes it, more quicker and more convenient for me is to just record them, while while they're fresh. While, like the one number one, or the first episode that comes out of this series of a webtoon that I'm reading, is like literally the easiest way for me to put stuff out there, because it's just one episode, and it's probably like only 2 or 1 minute of episode, like Heartstopper. And boom, that's it. That's for me. Okay, bye guys. Subscribe, like, comment, all that jazz. And I end the video. And that's pretty much been convenient. But it's not really what I feel like is fulfilling this channel, or what's making this channel any better. This channel, of course, is built on these let's reads. But at the same time, I want to do more. I want to do more. So that not only this is like a top 10, this is basically me giving you an update of what's going on to the channel, or what's going to happen. Because right now I've been busy with life, okay? Having a job for the longest time. Pretty much I just been focusing on, I don't know, my financials. Because that's the thing about this year, is that the freaking inflation is getting crazy, okay? And you should know, and if you're hearing this, because I am an adult, and I have to worry about inflation, because that's what we adults do, okay? Your parents are probably struggling harder, especially you live in the US. I don't know about anywhere else, but let me tell you, they're working very hard to support you, okay? Anyways, enough of that. We're supposed to make a top 10 here. This just became like a whole entire rant video, a freaking mumbling, like, like ramble, because I ramble a lot. The reason why is I notice my channel is not really getting where it wants to be. It's getting lower. I'm losing views. I'm losing subs. I don't know what to do anymore. Ever. I don't, and I have to be creative, and that's why I made a TikTok. That's why I'm doing stuff in my other channel, and that's why I've been really in this creative runt right now. And it's not like I'm running out of creativity. It's just that I have creativity. It's just that I just don't know what to do with it. It's just like left there cold outside out, for anyone else to grab. But I need to grab it. I need to do something with it, and that's kind of like where I'm at. So, anyways. Oh yeah, honorable mentions. Meant to Be, Boy Girlfriend, Boyfriend, Summer Boo, The Princess Outland, The Kiss Bad, Daybreak, and Bailey and Leo. Listen, all these other webtoons, I love them. I love them, but they're not on this list. I mean, there's probably more. I didn't put enough for honorable mentions, but then again, there are some repeating webtoons here. It's just that when it comes down to what I read and what affects me more, because certain things get old. Me reading, like stuff like Boyfriends, and I love Boyfriends, okay? I love that webtoon. But there's a part of me where it's starting to get old. You can, and I don't want to say that because I don't want to lose you guys. there's a reason why I don't do reviews on webtoons. I refuse to do reviews because you're gonna hear a very honest of me, and most of you are really not gonna like my opinions. And but I say those opinions as a critic and also as a writer. Okay, as a person that reads, or just when watching a movie, I look at the aspects of the story and the impact of it. There's not much of an impact of boyfriends. I love boyfriends. It's a comfy, but the thing is that there's no emotional moments in it. There's nothing that really grabs me, like makes me feel for like goth or prep, and I want to feel for them. But there's nothing. There is what do you want me to feel? For boy girlfriend? Yes, there is something. I will say that even though it's in honorable mentions as well, for boy girlfriend, there is something to grab for me, and because of the no spoilers, but the father and stuff like that. But when it comes down to boyfriends, I don't see it. The same thing with Daybreak, and I don't put Daybreak, I don't even know if it was like ended this year. I forgot. Okay, you think I remember any of this? I barely remember some of the reads. I just read the last episode, and boom, it reminds me. But when it comes down to like Daybreak and the other webtoons that I just been reading for so long, that it feels like, because that's the usual routine. Everyday routine is reading and boom, uploading, and that's it. That's all you get. Copy paste the freaking description. That's the behind the scenes. But I just been like I'm talking about the ones that sort of have a bit more impact. But for the honorable mentions, these are webtoons that are just comfort but I there's still something to me. Okay, and let me tell you right now, these are just my personal opinions. I could have said this in the beginning because I'm in a whole ramble mood right now. These are just my opinions of the top 10s. These are just what I think, what brings the impact. Shoot, there's even some that I haven't read in a while, but I still remember them because the difference, or what's the gosh, I'm trying to think. What's the word again? I'm losing words here. But just the innovation of just like what I've seen that I haven't seen before, where I'm like, when I talk about these top 10s, I'm like, oh my gosh, yo, this is different. This is really different. And also it's a romance. So it's kind of like staying the camaraderie, even though some of them are probably either romance or not. So I could break the rules. I don't freaking care. I can break the rules if I want to. I'm breaking the rules right now of just rambling this long. If I was doing a freaking Game Awards, they'll be like, hey, you Vince, we need to continue. Stop talking about your pathetic life, okay? So, I'm here let's just get started, okay? I'm sorry. Top 10. For the number 10 spot. And pretty much, I don't know if I will get in trouble with this. I don't even know if I did read it. But I do remember some people were like, man, why are you talking about the controversy of this webtoon? And that controversy of the webtoon that I'm talking about is the Heart of Eternity. I enjoyed this webtoon. I really did. It's different. It's an island kind of like fantasy almost. And the men are just like beautiful looking. And the characters, each one of them, even though it also fits a much more adulty side for me personally, when I look at it, it's very like mature for sure. And I think that's also the reasons why I stopped reading it, because it gets to some places where it's like, okay, this is a little too unsafe for my content. But I still remember the impact, and also the lore, like the demigods of the story as well. And when it comes down to my personal list, story, I don't remember that. Who that though? No, I only remember like the impact. And when it comes down to story, it's probably a major thing that happens like in the beginning or the end, mostly because my memories can't fit. My memories are too busy, like, oh crap, I gotta think about how am I gonna pay my bills. I'm too busy thinking about that more than like the old webtoons that I read like freaking 4 months ago. You think I remember anything webtoons? I don't even remember what I got from the groceries yesterday. But yes, the Heart of Eternity. Even though I got a bit of controversy, not really controversy. The artist did. And I don't know the artist. When I read these webtoons, you think I talk about, talking to the artist? When I'm watching a freaking movie, you think I'm talking to Zack Snyder? Hey, no, he don't know me. He don't know me. He might, but he don't know me. So I'm over here talking about, just the stuff that I enjoyed, that I actually had a lot of fun. And this is in the 10 because I don't want to put this up there. Man, that would be crazy if I did put it in number 1 spot. I was actually thinking of putting it in honorable mentions. but I guess it might count as an audible mention since it's really low in the list. So The Heart of Eternity, I enjoyed it. It was like it was different, the visuals and behind it. It felt very like, nostalgic in its ways, that the way I look at it. But other than that, yeah, The Heart of Eternity. For number nine spot is a comedy. It's something that I enjoyed very much. I remember like, seeing this for sure, and I'm just like, man, okay, I saw the title, I saw the banner, I'm like, what the heck is this? And I had to read it for comedy's sake, and it is SWM Mates. For sure that when I read it, I never thought I would like it or enjoyed it that much, even though there wasn't much for me to grab on, but the concept of it, especially when it comes down to a girl gamer that lifts, that pretty much tells that story. And some people might have different opinions when actually reading SWM Mates. Personally, for me, when it comes down to recording, because every webtoon, the reason why I read them is because I'm recording them. Okay, I'm recording my reactions to the webtoon that I'm reading, and I had a lot of fun moments of reading SWM Mates and also just making fun of the characters and just having a good time and understanding who the main protagonist, the girl, is, especially for like her trauma and just like what she's been through. It goes into strong feelings for sure. It's funny, it's hilarious, it makes fun of like certain stereotypes here and there, but it's not afraid to go to each deep area of just like who the characters are for sure and their vulnerabilities, because that's going to show at one point in some of these webtoons. And well, it delivered pretty well, knowing that I can appreciate that kind of feeling towards the webtoons for sure. And from what I got from it, most of you guys really enjoyed me reading it, and it just became this whole thing within my channel of just like this fun playground of my reactions mixtured with SWM Mates' comedic flow. Like I kind of appreciate what the webtoon has to give for me for that aspect of just like the content, and making adding more content to it because of my reactions. It just makes it more fun. For the number nine spot is Ineffable. I enjoyed this webtoon knowing because of Milk, the main character for sure. And I guess, it really didn't bring much, knowing that I just wish there was a bit more episodes. It's just that when it comes down to any other BLs, because I never thought this one would be BL, but it is, thank goodness, as I found out later on in the episodes. But there's just something about Milk. He's just like, the characters is also what affects this list a bit more. It's like just seeing just how, their personality mixture with their good looks and everything, like just has me hypnotized, just reading more and more. And it really reminds me of this other webtoon. It's probably, what is it called? My Husband. And that Milk reminds me of this certain character from that and My Husband, like, I don't know what happened to the creator. It feels like I've been waiting for years for My Husband, and just nothing happens at all. And I still been waiting for anything that BL. But for this BL, I guess it's a replacer. It's kind of, fulfills that goal for sure. And pretty much does its work for, the characters that is shown, in what goes inside of like modeling and stuff like that. I can adore just like how the beautiful the webtoon is, and how interesting the role, the chemistry between these two characters, and as they move on, and also understand Milk as a character as well, and the roommates and everything, but also like the business and that aspect. When it comes to it, especially for someone that is not into modeling, I enjoyed this more so for sure as like a soft touch, and also as a beautiful just entity of just remarkable displays of characters, and also just like how the business works within it. And I guess I enjoyed that, because honestly, there's nothing to write home about Ineffable for sure, but I enjoyed Ineffable for what it is, of just like me being in the moment of like what goes inside these characters, and also Milk. Like Milk is like probably one of my favorite BL characters right now. So the next one is also a repeating webtoon, but I have to actually mention it for sure. it is down to earth. And the reason why I put down to earth in this one and for the number 7 spot, it's because that I already put it in some of the other lists. But for this particular season for Down to Earth has been quite interesting because for the first time we are getting like an insight of the character Zeta, of just like what her home planet is or what happened to her, and it's a lot of juicy aspects to it, and also surrounding Stace, and also a little bit more detail of like Susie, and also the mystery of like what is Delilah up to, and also the relationship between Zeta and Kate, like if it's real or not. Like it's a lot, it feels like a lot of my like expectations are sort of being answered, of just like what is going on like with Kate and Zeta. Is it real or not? Will stay still Zeta, like that kind of aspects. And pretty much for this long following Down to Earth, from beginning to present, I just been, it's actually been doing like good story, stuff for just like what it can give for the later episodes, and what is like, unexpected, and just a lot of work, all thanks to Pookie, that actually just still to this day dominates for like, for this webtoon, because I always see it on the top list and stuff like that. But also its story just, truly lives up. I just feel like there's probably like a Star Wars kind of like aspects where we're like might go to space or something. But also having the other characters that usually don't know like who Zeta is, now knowing that she's an alien, it brings more of just like a lot of interest, for sure, of having the characters involved, for sure. And also just like my reactions towards the reads are always like a fun time. Like this is literally the first webtoon when it comes down to my full on list of other webtoon reads that I'm reacting to. This is kind of like the first one in line. So yeah, Down to Earth, I'm definitely putting here at least Down to Earth season 2, because this one has been a good season for this series. Next up is for number 6 is a different webtoon that I kind of just didn't expect much for it, but I knew for a fact that I have to talk about it, because I haven't read it in a while, but when I first saw it, there was something about each design and everything like that, and just the whole world itself. And I don't know if I would call this a romance, but there's a part of me where it probably is. And at least that's what I'm putting my bets up. It is called Marinetta. Marinetta is, a fantasy story about these two girls. It's this one girl wanting to actually find this other girl that is like her best friend or something, aka lover. I just get this feeling that could be lovers for sure. But this is like that kind of aspect of the story where it goes into a sad awakening, because the first scene is like what sets me up to actually find out more of Marinetta. Even though I haven't catch up to it, it still has me to find out more of a bit like what's happening in Marinetta, but also what is this place that they're in? What is this world? Like this like this freaking big circus, not a little circus, it's a big circus. It is huge, and it's a freaking walking circus that travels around the land and stuff like that. And I'm just wondering, like, what am I looking at? And it's just this sort of, it sort of gave me this just like Studio Ghibli vibe when I actually was reading through the webtoon, and also just discovering the characters, and just like, what is this place is haunting, or because it's weird. It's a weird one. It's a fantasy based kind of like webtoon, but what is up with the main character, but also her lover that actually is like caught up in the whole mess? Like, how is she gonna save her, especially what happened to her during the webtoon? Like, how is she gonna get out of the circus? So it's kind of like this interest about it that brings me in, but also the world, the colors surrounding it, the country that they're in, which I don't know where it is set in. But what is this like weird fever dream that I'm in when it comes down to this fantasy based landscape that she has to follow in to actually save her? Like, I don't know. But Marinetta is, a webtoon that is definitely deserved to actually be one of my favorite fantasies so far, because it's just interesting, just like how, and also just how whimsical this whole landscape that they're in, almost like it's just like it's magical. and it's mysterious. Like, what is happening here, and how do we get to this place? But also, it also draws a lot of happy vibes to it because it does remind me of Ghibli and One Piece in a sense. But yeah, for sure, Marinetta. And yeah, it has to be a Geo. Come on. Next up for number 5 is a webtoon that actually I never thought of putting in this list, but now thinking about it, I'm like, wow, very emotional. That's all I can say. It is Honey Lemon. Honey Lemon is such a it is so like very, I don't know how to say it. Okay, for Honey Lemon, for those that saw me read it, I know for a fact when I was going into something, quite different. Even though I'm so tired with any webtoon that sets in Korea, or maybe this is in Korea, maybe not. I don't freaking know. But I'm tired of that of many webtoons that are set in this specific place in Asia, for sure. But for the stories and for what it's trying to tell, especially surrounding the main character, for sure I have to follow it. For sure I had to actually seek more of just like what is really going on. So for many that is like news to so many of like the series that I've been reading, when it comes down to Honey Lemon, it does talk about the idea of like, breaking up or divorce or something like that. Not to spoil it, but later on it's sort of like goes into that in a sense, and knowing who you fall in love with, knowing who you trust. It shares that aspect, but in an emotional way where I didn't expect when reading this. I really enjoyed like, the characters that set it around it, but also the coziness that it gives. Like I felt a lot of warmth when reading through Honey Lemon, and how it's like, portrayed in today's society of relationships and stuff like that. It really brings me that to heart, and sort of just reminds me of, my relationship. And there is moments where it's like emotional that I know it's my fault to make it more emotional because I add music and stuff. But man, it was like, I just can't wait to see more of Honey Lemon because it really broke through when I saw it, of my first reaction of, just the first couple of episodes, and later on it gets more deeper and deeper, and I just couldn't help but feel like, wow, this is sort of like, it's something deep, for sure. Next up for the number 4 spot, and I kind of have to play my cards right here because I know that I could be wrong in some of these are probably early and stuff like that. But I have to get back to the fantasy landscape because I gotta talk about Nevermore. My gosh, Nevermore just brings it, always brings it. And last year I did put Nevermore, but now I guess it's higher in this list. That it is bringing this whole different dimension of just dark magica and just like demonic scenery, for sure. Something that is a bit too much for me nowadays. But man, this one is definitely like worth it for these next season or whatever, wherever we at, that we get like a much more deeper aspect of the character, and it's also testing the waters of, these both of these girls' love for each other. And also many secrets are dropped, many promises are broken, and mix with that also with the horror aspect, we see more monsters, we see more like, demonic entities and stuff like that through this particular webtoon, for sure. And this supernatural webtoon being my only supernatural that in this channel, it just gets deeper and deeper. And I like that about it, especially with the action scenes that it's been throwing and so much more. Like, I whenever I read it, and I always go for 3 episodes because I've been kind of like, falling back a bit. But when I come back, I'm just so attached to like what is happening here. What is like the main character doing in this scene? Like, is she crazy? Is she going like crazy? Like all these characters going crazy, and it feels like there's this madness in the school that's happening that I'm just so curious to see. It's just like that curiosity, and I guess I've been, when it comes down to many other horror games or horror like horror like supernatural like entertainment, it's always that curiosity, like what is really going on inside the school or inside this building, and what happened to her or him or something. Like, I don't know, it's just a lot of mystery that I just can't wait to find out. And yeah, I just got to put Nevermore for that kind of aspect, for just that alone. Anyways, moving on to the number three spot. And this number three spot, I talk about webtoons that actually gave me a bit of more of emotion for sure. But for this one, I just knew that I had to bring it and actually give you another webtoon that I'm repeating once again. But this is the last one, and I never thought I would like it more. But Operation True Love is definitely a webtoon that, for this particular season or where I'm at with the series, because I've been catching up to it, is it's heavy, it's deep. There is so much questions that need to be answered when it comes down to the relationship or what's really going on, and also the obstacles that they have to go through. These are just teenagers and they're just going through this head on, and it's either life or death at this point for what's happening within the series, especially the bias record of these two boys, this triangle love or something. I don't know what is happening anymore. It's getting crazy. I'm just surprised that the news hasn't caught up to what they're getting caught on, but it feels like they're just surviving. They're just going through these obstacles, and they're pretty much just doing well. But are they? Are they doing it mentally? That's kind of another aspect of what got me interested a bit more as I keep reading the episodes. Is it more so are they tired, or just they're how are they gonna rebuild some of the relationships that they broke? I don't know. Especially I'm talking about the friends, but especially this understanding these moments, and this moment that when the main character was was being asked do you really love me by the other character that she loved, do you really care? It's really going into those aspects of honesty. You gotta be honest with yourself when actually just going into this, and especially the having an enemy just watching over you and how scary that is. That is what I like most so about Operation True Love. I never thought I would like it. Most of you guys are just been wanting me to read it, but I can see why. I can see why, and it really fulfills that, and especially that freaking blow up scene. I was scared because it was just unexpected. I was like, is this Operation True Love, or is this Mission Impossible? I can't tell anymore. Man, it goes into those surprises. And I like that about other webtoons, especially romances. Usually never cross those lines, but it does. And I really enjoyed that kind of aspect of this particular webtoon for sure. Next up for number two, and I guess I put number two for, it's always the top tier for number two for sure. But I gotta put this here, knowing that it's not really unfair for sure, but I just can't help it. I enjoyed it. I love it. This is my list. I'm talking about RWA Home. I can't believe I'm putting it here, and I only read it only a few months, and pretty much, yeah, I got already attached to it. I enjoyed RWA Home. I love this webtoon so much. Just knowing both of these characters and just how vulnerable they're gonna be. It's different from Heartstopper. It's different from Boy Girlfriend because they're not rushing. They're not rushing. And when you really love someone, you don't rush it. You kind of just wait it out. At least for me, at that point, because I feel like that's kind of a good advice for sure. It's just taking time, but also being yourself, especially with these two boys going to schools that are against each other, that are always butting heads whenever they see each other for sure. It's kind of crazy. And it just brings this Yakuza vibe with both of these schools, freaking high schools, of just sort of having this enemy attachment between two. But also what really grabs me between RWA Home that really puts it in this list particularly is the brother. I couldn't hate the brother even more, but man, the brother. It's just, there's something about it that not only is riveting, it feels real, but there was just something about it that, man, this is kind of scary because the brother's paid for all this and then breaking promises, but it just felt real. It felt so real. You would think it's from parents, but it's from the freaking brother that is supporting him all the way. But I'm like, what in earth did the brother, I get it, brothers stick together for sure, but for this one, it's just something doesn't feel right. And and I just felt this force, this is something that most people, especially in Asia, because this is set in Japan, I believe, that what they go through in terms of like peer pressure, doing school and being the best or something that felt so real. It felt I felt that emotion through the main character, and it's just heartbreaking. And yeah, I just love this so far, and especially the relationship between two of these boys for sure. The main one that actually goes to the other school from the other one. And at this point, I'm probably not naming names for most of these characters that I talk about webtoons. I apologize, but man, for this one particularly, like I really do felt their love like being authentic and just being chill, just being chill. That's what I like about certain other webtoon when it comes to romances. Like, I like it to be chill, not only because I don't want any spicy stuff to be in my YouTube's videos, because YouTube will put me down for sure. Like, how dare you show this type of content? Boop! They freaking put the block button and my video is now gone. Like, wow, thanks. And I got a strike for what? A community guideline strike? Really, YouTube? For this? Just shirtless guys? But thankfully for this one, hopefully it might go there, for sure. But for this one itself, like, it feels authentic and also safe. That's what I like about it. It's really showing like, yep, this is a PG rated, okay, and it should be PG for sure, because if it goes down to any G's, it should be either G rated or nothing more. Okay, let's not go all the way to 13, please, love God. But yeah, it's a real treat for this one, okay, for sure. Like, I just feel a lot of relatability when it comes down to RWA Home, that I enjoyed it, and it's beginning to be, yep, it's one of my favorite BLs for sure, okay? I mean, boy girlfriend will always be my favorite. Summer boo, boyfriends. But we gotta put a new one here, okay? We got a new one. And hopefully they get along with the others. RWA Home, definitely one of my favorite BLs this year. It just felt real. It felt authentic. It felt something that is from someone that actually knows a thing or two about relationship between two boys in a school, that that doesn't feel nasty, that doesn't feel copped out. It feels authentic for sure, okay? And man, the characters and everything surrounding it is deep. But other than that, the number one spot, and I've been really thinking about, actually I haven't been thinking about it, okay? I already thought about it. I saw it, I read it from beginning to end, and it is my number one spot. I knew I had to put in my number one. I was like, this is definitely the one right here. It may not be perfect like the others, but for this one particularly, it felt at home. Because for those that don't know, I actually went camping and used to, and also like just it sort of felt American for sure, because it's taking place in like, I don't know, somewhere in the East Coast, and that's why I gotta put in this list. Just a break from like Korea, because we always go to Korea and Japan when it comes to webtoons. Can we just take it back to the US of A? We got here. Okay, and this is, believe it or not, it's a GL. Okay, for the number one spot, the winner of my top 10 favorite romance webtoons of all times goes to Night Owls in Summer Skies. Some of you are probably not surprised, because I've been catching up to this. I just been hesitate, like, where the relationship goes. And it does takes its time with the relationship for sure. It takes its time, even though we already understood like the character is not straight in the beginning. But I don't know what it is. I just love this so much. It's like, this GL, this Camp Lazlo GL, like, goodness, that for me personally is an emotional roller coaster. It's an emotional roller. It sometimes gets too emotional to the point where it gets annoying. That's what I will say, but it's not afraid to actually go to those moments. There's so many aspects of this particular webtoon that could have done better, but what's different from it is that it just reminds me of childhood. It just reminds me of it, okay? The whole camping aspect, the whole like going to the woods. I just remember those moments from this particular webtoon, and then it's just like, damn, I remember those. Except for this one, like, it's just modern and different and stuff like that, but still, something that is definitely attached to today's, especially, or back then, it's kind of like quality of just like camping or just being a kid basically. And I enjoyed this so much. Like, it goes through so much emotions that it's not afraid to go through when it comes down to the main character, especially what happened with the parents, what's going on with the relationship with the parents. And there's parts of me where like, okay, well, I don't see how these emotions really go here and there or something like that. But at the same time, it's almost like in reality, that's for sure that we don't want. We don't want that relationship kind of like hoggle when it comes down to an argument, when it comes down to different aspects of just like us being human, basically, when we are, get into our feelings for sure. But it does feel that way, tiring, and it's realistic in that sense. And I guess I put the top webtoons that are a bit more realistic, and this one just sort of just hits that. Okay, especially if it goes into that route of romance between one a girl, because this is a GL, a girl that's actually going to camp to be attending to be a Girl Scout or whatever, or just going camping because it is a summer camp. And the other girl that is running the camp, that's basically like, a mentor, the headline. And they're kind of like almost the same age, but it does feel like, the one's an adult and the other one. So it does feel like an age gap in a sense. But man, it's just like draws in like, hey, I can't be in love with you. And the girl's realistic, the mentor that's realistic about this. But not only that, like it just there's certain aspects of flashbacks from the characters that really showcase the emotions a bit more. And it showcased them of just like it having authentic, because let me tell you, this whole webtoon itself, like you will cry in some way or another. You will cry, or in your insides will cry, okay? And man, it's not afraid to go through those routes, because now I realize, like, when the happy moments come, it's rewarding. It's rewarding just to see them smile, see them celebrate. And it just felt like, like this whole camping, like, journey that they're in or she's in, like felt like an adventure. It felt like a one-time adventure. But when that ending comes, because I did finish it, it's a complete series. That ending, man. I was like, it felt like you went to heaven and then you're going back to reality. It's just, man, those were some moments. Like she learned something through that, and it made you curious. It's the same thing with the ending of Amphibia. I seen all seasons, and I love Amphibia, but the ending began like, it's, you see that and it's just like, well, damn, time really flies. Time flies when you're just having this much fun of just reading this, because I had a lot of fun reading Night Owls and Summer Skies. I had so much enjoyment and memories of just like reading this, and I just still couldn't help myself to think back about those memories. And but since it's gone and completed, it's like that's it. I was like, what? And it did it well. It did it well. It's not supposed to go this hard, but man, I went hard of actually when it was gone. I was like, I was already missing it in literally the ending, and I was like, well, I guess this is it. This is it. Oh man, I just I don't want to spoil it. You definitely should check it out for sure, or check out my videos because I reacted to the whole thing, okay, from freaking beginning to end. But man, I love this webtoon so much. I adored it. I enjoyed it. It was everything I can ever wanted for this particular series, and man, did I have such a good time reading Night Owls and Summer Skies. There's just that charm to it, that childhood charm that reminds me of it, and maybe it's because one of those moments where I just want to go to the past. Then again, I'm playing old school video games, and I'm just like, here it is. The same thing with this one that reminded me of the old camps, or at least camping back when I was a kid. But my gosh, it just fits. It's such a heartwarming series. And that's my 10 webtoons of 2023. Thank you guys for watching this whole video for me. If I gotta be honest, Boyfriends would always be on number one, but other than that, you know what is my number one read? The Bible, because God is good. Repent. Sorry. Okay, my Jesus. We need Jesus in here. Okay, that's kind of like what's the difference in this year. Okay, I never thought I would actually need the Lord. I think I just need some wholesomeness and warmness, and the Bible is the place. Okay, read the Bible. Anyways, I'll see you when I see you. Thank you guys for watching. God bless. Hope you have amazing holidays, and I'll see you after my break. Subscribe, like, comment, and all that jazz. One peace and one love. I'm out.